Welcome to the Strategic Thinking Training Sessions, where through these sessions I give you tips and advice in order to create a successful pathway to the future. And these tips and advice are suitable in the context of an organisation you serve, an organisation you work for, or an organisation you are associated with. In the first episode, I got you to do a brief top-of-mind SWOT analysis on the organisation you serve, you work for, or are associated with. And I just got you to do a quick analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But then I added a layer to that, and I asked you to consider time. And I asked you to a specific question: what is likely to change over a specific time frame, say 2 years? And so hopefully you've gone away and actually looked at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of that organisation and answered that question: what is likely to change? So what I'd like to do in this episode is to actually give you a framework to actually help you to actually think about time, to actually give you some categories in which to actually think about the changes which are actually happening in each of those 4 areas. I want to introduce you to the PESTLE framework. PESTLE stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. So it's a way to think about the changes which are happening. Answering that question, what is likely to change in each of those 4 areas of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So the PESTLE analysis, what is it? So P, political, what are the laws? What are the, what's the polity? What's actually happening with government? And so, what is likely to happen with strengths, weaknesses and opportunities and threats? One way to look through that, one way to answer that question is, what's actually happening in the political environment that will affect our organisation over the 2 years? The second one, E, economic. What's happening with interest rates, what's happening with trade deals, what's actually happening with unemployment, all those sort of economic indicators, well, they will all affect your organisation. S stands for social. What are people like? What are their trends? What's actually happening, say, with immigration? Or what are the latest fads that people are latching onto? Or what are they buying or not buying? Or where are they living? T stands for technology. How much R&D is happening? How much of, robotics and artificial intelligence and cloud computing, even materials science and other areas like that. So technology, what's actually happening in that area that may affect your organisation. L stands for legal. What laws are on the books, or what insurance, or what are some legal ramifications? Might be leasing on buildings, or there might be something happening in that area, in the legal, in the HR area. And then E stands for the environment. Yes, it's not just about, say, climate change, but there also might be things around chemicals, or there might be things around green wedges, or something to do with the environment. So there are, PESTLE, there's those areas in which to think through a little bit deeper to help you actually frame your question about time. What's likely to change in the P area, in the E, in the S, the social area, that will affect your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities and threats that your organisation faces. One of the things you could look at is, say, the technology area. And we see that e-commerce is becoming ubiquitous. We see discussions around electric vehicles and artificial intelligence and so on. How will that affect your organisation over the next 1 or 2 years? From a societal perspective, increasingly people are after meaning from work. And so they're wanting to come along and not just contribute to the bottom line, but they want their life to mean something and have value. And there's a shift there in the social sphere. How will that affect your organisation. And so, the piece of homework for this, probably a little bit more complex, is to take each of those categories, the political, the economic, the social, the technological, the legal and environment, the PESTLE areas, and apply them to each of the SWOT areas, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Now, don't worry if you don't have each of those PESTLE areas for each of the SWOT. It's just really to help you to think through what's actually likely to affect your organisation. So take the time to do it. Do it top of mind, take a day, take a few minutes to do it. But feel free to go through this exercise, and when we come back next time, I'll give you a little bit more insight, some little bit more depth to actually create a great SWOT analysis so that your organisation that you serve, that you work for, that you're associated with, so that organisation can have a successful pathway to the future.